You've felt the spark of excitement before. A new project, a fresh idea, a sunrise that whispers possibility. Yet too often that spark fades, drowned by distractions, fatigue, or doubt. What if you could harness the machinery of your own brain to stay driven every single day? Your mind is not a static engine. It's a living network wired to learn, adapt, and propel you forward if you know how to steer it. Start each morning by lighting the path for your brain. Within the first hour of waking, expose your eyes to natural light, no sunglasses, no screens. That simple act signals to your brain that it's daytime, anchors your circadian rhythm, and elevates your mood and alertness. Follow this by moving your body, push-ups, jumping jacks, or a brisk walk. Movement floods your brain with neurochemicals, dopamine for motivation, norepinephrine for focus, endorphins for resilience, setting the tone for action. Next, break your goals into micro accessions. The brain is addicted to progress, even if it's measured in tiny steps. Want to write a report? Commit to writing one sentence. Want to learn a language? Record yourself pronouncing a single phrase. Each completed action releases a burst of dopamine, your brain's reward currency, fueling the desire for more. Before you know it, momentum becomes unstoppable. Guard your focus with intentional cycles. Work in 90-minute epochs of deep engagement followed by deliberate breaks. Science shows our neural circuits run hot for about an hour and a half before performance drops. Honor that window, immerse fully, then step away, stretch, gaze out the window, breathe deeply. These breaks reset your brain's attention, preventing burnout and sharpening creativity. Cultivate your environment as an ally. Clutter. Keep only the tools you need within arm's reach. Silence notifications. Each visual or auditory cue competes for your limited attention, draining your mental energy. When you simplify your surroundings to mirror your priorities, you reduce the friction between intention and action. Embrace discipline, but also compassion. There will be days when energy dips or resistance rises. That's when you rely on habit, not motivation, to carry you forward. Build rituals that anchor you. A pre-work playlist, a 10-minute meditation, a gratitude journal entry. These rituals become neural grooves your brain follows automatically, even when willpower wanes. Recharge ruthlessly. Evening routines matter as much as your morning. Dim the lights, power down screens, and reflect on wins, no matter how small. Gratitude and acknowledgement strengthen neural pathways of positivity, making it easier to rise the next day. Prioritize sleep, that nightly reset when your brain consolidates learning and clears metabolic waste. Every day is a laboratory. Track what amplifies your drive and what derails it. Notice which rituals ignite energy, which environments foster clarity, and which habits erode progress. Tweak relentlessly. In the space between intention and outcome lies your power to adapt and evolve, your brain's most extraordinary gift. Drive is not a fleeting flame. It's an engine you build, habit by habit, choice by choice. Light the path for your brain. Honor its natural rhythms. Reward progress in small doses, and protect the environment around you. Do this consistently, and you'll unlock the vast reservoir of your potential, transforming fleeting inspiration into lasting achievement day after day. Within minutes of waking, your brain is primed to receive signals that set the tone for every hour that follows. Stepping into natural light first thing doesn't just feel good, it tells your internal clock that it's time to launch into the day. Specialized cells in your eyes detect the full spectrum of morning sunlight and transmit that information to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, which in turn regulates hormone release, body temperature, and alertness. That early burst of light suppresses melatonin production and triggers a controlled rise in cortisol, a healthy, moderate surge that sharpens your focus and energizes your body without the jitters of caffeine. By making exposure to natural light your first priority, you synchronize your circadian rhythm so that your energy peaks when you need it, not when the sun goes down. Pairing that sunlight with intentional movement amplifies the effect. Whether you're doing a few minutes of dynamic stretches, a brisk walk around the block, or simple body weight exercises, Each contraction and stretch ignites a cascade of neurochemicals. Dopamine, your brain's reward messenger, surges, giving you a sense of satisfaction and drive. Norepinephrine, which heightens attention, floods your neural pathways, helping you zero in on the day's priorities. Endorphins and endocannabinoids, your natural mood lifters, kick in to buffer stress and sharpen mental clarity. Unlike an afternoon slump that sneaks up on you or a reactive adrenaline spike born of crisis, this morning routine builds a foundation of sustained motivation. You're not chasing a temporary high. You're engineering a brain state optimized for productivity and resilience. When light and movement become inseparable parts of your morning, your brain learns to expect and crave their partnership. It creates neural circuits that link sunrise rituals with enthusiasm and forward momentum. Within days, you'll notice a subtle shift. Tasks that once felt onerous now carry a spark of possibility, and distractions fade into the background. Your mood stabilizes, and decision fatigue decreases because you're operating from a replenished reservoir of mental energy. Conclusion: by consistently welcoming daylight into your eyes and priming your body with movement, you solve two fundamental challenges at once: anchoring your biological clock and launching a powerful neurochemical cocktail. This dual-action approach isn't merely a nice-to-have, it's the cornerstone of daily drive. Make natural light and motion your non-negotiable morning allies, and you'll transform fleeting ambition into a dependable engine for success. When you're staring at a mountain of tasks, whether it's drafting a major report, launching a new business, or overhauling your health, it's easy to feel paralyzed by the scale of the challenge. The brain detects large, vague goals as potential threats and can respond by freezing or seeking distraction. But you can flip this response by slicing big goals into micro-sections, tiny specific steps that feel so manageable the brain hardly registers them as intimidating. Instead, each completed micro-action delivers a hit of dopamine, the brain's feel-good neurotransmitter tied to reward and motivation. Over time, these hits accumulate into a powerful momentum that carries you through even the most daunting projects. Imagine you need to write a 2,000-word article. Instead of waiting to get in the zone or hoping motivation strikes, commit to writing just one sentence. That's it, one sentence. You might spend 3 minutes or 10, it doesn't matter. The key is that you follow through. The instant you add words to an empty page, your brain recognizes progress. Dopamine surges signaling, keep going, this feels good. With that chemical encouragement, you're far more inclined to write a second sentence, then a third. Before you know it, the article begins to take shape and resistance falls away. Micro-accessions can be applied to any goal. Launching a workout routine, commit to putting on your sneakers. Want to declutter your home? Decide to clear one drawer. Learning a new language? Record yourself pronouncing a single phrase. Each tiny win rewires your neural circuits to associate action with reward, making it easier to act again. Unlike grand gestures that rely on high levels of motivation, levels that inevitably dip, micro-accessions create sustainable momentum. They transform the psychological battle from "can I do this?" to "I'm already doing it." This isn't about lowering standards or doing less. It's a strategic hack to engage your brain's reward system, turning short-circuit resistance into stepped-up performance. As you string together micro-accessions, you build confidence and a cumulative sense of achievement. Tasks that once loomed large become a sequence of small victories. And because each victory fuels the next with dopamine, you move from one success to another, unlocking new levels of productivity. Conclusion: by reducing your ambitions into pinpointed, achievable micro-accessions, you rewire your brain to crave progress instead of fearing obstacles. Each completed step is a dopamine-driven affirmation that you're moving forward, and over time, these affirmations compound into unstoppable momentum. When you master the art of micro-accessions, you transform overwhelming goals into a choreography of small wins, and in that dance, true drive is born. Your brain runs on natural rhythms of intense focus and recovery, known as ultradian cycles. For roughly 90 minutes, your neural circuits can maintain peak attention, synthesizing information, solving problems, and generating creative ideas at their highest efficiency. But once that window closes, performance inevitably dips. Decision-making feels sluggish, distractions multiply, and motivation wanes. Ignoring these biological limits keeps you pushing through diminishing returns, wasting time, draining energy, and sabotaging the very goals you care about. Instead, lean into these cycles. Deliberately structure your work into 90-minute sprints of undistracted concentration, followed by breaks that allow your mind to reset. During each sprint, remove every potential interruption. Silence notifications, close unrelated tabs, and commit fully to one task. This kind of deep engagement triggers focused neural oscillations in the prefrontal cortex and parietal networks, enabling sustained attention on complex problems. As you slip into this state, often called flow, your brain heightens dopamine release, reinforcing the actions that keep you locked in. You're not merely putting your head down, you're training your mind to harness its own chemistry for maximum output. When the 90 minutes are up, stop immediately. Don't push through the fatigue that only leads to mental clutter and increased error rates. Instead, take a deliberate break of 10 to 20 minutes, step away from your desk, walk outside, breathe deeply, or practice a brief mindfulness exercise. These activities activate the default mode network, giving your focus circuits a chance to recuperate and consolidate insights generated during the sprint. Blood flow shifts from task-specific regions back into broader associative areas, strengthening memory and creative linkage. By the time you return, you'll feel more alert, your thinking sharper, and your motivation renewed. Repeat this cycle 3 to 5 times a day, depending on your schedule. You'll find that you accomplish more in these structured bursts than in an unbroken, unplanned workday. And beyond productivity, honoring these rhythms protects your mental health, reducing stress, lowering cortisol, and preventing burnout. You're teaching your brain that rest is not a reward for productivity, but an integral component of it. Conclusion. Aligning your day with the brain's natural attention cycles transforms chaos into clarity. 90-minute focus blocks let you tap into deep work and flow, while intentional breaks recharge your neural networks. This simple framework converts motivation from a fleeting spark into a sustainable engine, fueling creativity, precision, and resilience. By respecting your mind's inherent design, you unlock enduring drive, turning every workday into a performance optimized for peak potential. Every item in your line of sight sends a signal to your brain, and each of those signals demands processing power. When your desk is strewn with papers, gadgets, and half-finished projects, your brain's attention network remains fragmented, shifting rapidly from one stimulus to another. This constant switching not only wastes mental energy, but also elevates cortisol, the stress hormone, making it harder to focus on what truly matters. By consciously removing unnecessary objects, old coffee mugs, random notes, or dozens of browser tabs, you reduce the number of decisions your brain must make every minute. That frees up working memory and lowers the threshold for entering a state of flow, where deep work becomes possible and interruptions are less jarring. Organization goes beyond simple tidying. It involves curating every object and visual cue so that they reinforce your highest priorities. Place the tools you need most, your notebook, your favorite pen, the reference book within arm's reach, and put everything else out of view. Use closed storage or minimalist shelving to keep less frequently used items off stage. Digital clutter counts too. Turn off non-essential notifications, hide apps that pull you into social media loops, and create a desktop wallpaper that reminds you of your core objectives rather than drawing your eye with arbitrary images. When your environment mirrors your intentions, you create a seamless bridge between desire and action. Your brain no longer has to navigate a gauntlet of distractions. It simply responds to the few carefully chosen cues that point it toward productivity. Lighting, color, and even ambient sound play a role. Soft natural light reduces eye strain and signals calm focus, while overly bright or flickering lighting can trigger fatigue. Neutral wall colors and uncluttered surfaces minimize visual noise, allowing your mind to zero in on the task at hand. If you work better with gentle background music or white noise, Keep that sound consistent so it becomes part of your cue system. Over time, these environmental elements become woven into your habit architecture. As soon as you enter the space, your brain recognizes the pattern and gears up for sustained drive. Conclusion: you cannot outsource your focus to willpower alone. You must engineer it into your surroundings. A simplified, organized space eliminates the constant low-grade stress of clutter and decision fatigue, creating a neural environment primed for deep work. Each element, object placement, lighting, color, and sound, serves as a deliberate cue, guiding your attention toward meaningful action. By treating your workspace as a strategic asset rather than a passive backdrop, you transform every glance and movement into an opportunity for progress. In this thoughtfully designed arena, distractions dissolve and motivation becomes the natural byproduct of intentional space. When motivation ebbs, the difference between giving in and powering through often comes down to the smallest, most consistent acts you perform without thinking. These are your rituals, the anchors that keep you grounded when inspiration falters. Imagine beginning your workday not by launching straight into tasks, but by cueing a specific playlist you carefully curated to spark focus. As those first chords play, your brain automatically shifts into work mode, associating familiar melodies with the act of concentrated effort. Or consider the practice of sitting quietly for 5 minutes to center your breath and clear mental clutter before opening your laptop. That brief meditation isn't about achieving enlightenment. It's about establishing a reliable signal to your nervous system that it's time to move from reactive stress into proactive calm. Similarly, jotting down 3 things you're grateful for each morning rewires your mind to look for positivity. And even on the hardest days, it reminds you that progress exists outside of immediate results. These rituals aren't gimmicks, they're powerful neurological shortcuts. Each time you follow your established routine, you're reinforcing the neural pathways that connect intention to action, so that over time, the behavior becomes almost automatic. When resistance strikes, you no longer have to summon epic reserves of willpower. You simply follow the steps you already know. That's how you transform moments of doubt into moments of discipline. And because these rituals are tailored to your own preferences, your favorite music, your breathing pattern, your personal gratitude prompts, they feel less like chores and more like personal touchstones. Of course, rituals require careful design and unwavering consistency. You won't reap the rewards by dabbling for a few days. You need to plant your flag and return to the same sequence of actions day after day. Treat them as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. Schedule your playlist ritual before every work session, your brief meditation before any creative task, and your gratitude journal before you answer a single email. Guard these moments fiercely. When your alarm rings, honor the ritual before you check notifications. When lunchtime temptation calls, honor the ritual before you scroll social media. By leaning on these established rituals, you build a fortress of habit that carries you through slumps, fatigue, and distraction. Even when motivation wanes, the force of routine propels you forward, preserving your momentum and protecting the delicate spark of drive you've worked so hard to ignite. In this steady repetition of these small but potent acts, you unlock a truth that transcends any fleeting burst of inspiration. Lasting achievement isn't born of occasional inspiration. It's forged in the daily rituals that refuse to let you quit. In the quiet hours before sleep, your brain undertakes its most vital work, weaving together the day's experiences, consolidating memories, and clearing metabolic waste. When you dim the lights and power down screens, you're sending a signal to your suprachiasmatic nucleus that night has arrived. The absence of blue light naturally boosts melatonin production, guiding your body into a restorative state. By resisting the urge to scroll through social feeds or binge another episode, you protect this hormonal cascade, allowing sleep to come more easily and run more deeply. Turning off notifications and setting devices aside also reduces cognitive clutter. Those late-night pings and alerts extend the brain's alert mode, keeping your sympathetic nervous system engaged when it should be coasting into rest. Instead, when you create a ritual of silence, perhaps a few minutes spent jotting down what went well today, you give your mind permission to let go of unfinished tasks and lingering worries. Reflecting on wins, no matter how small, floods your brain with dopamine in a gentle, sustained flow, reinforcing positive neural pathways and strengthening the sense of progress that motivates you to begin again tomorrow. As you settle under the covers, the environment you've crafted, soft lighting, calm thoughts, and a deliberate transition away from digital stimulation sets the stage for high-quality sleep. During deep sleep, the glymphatic system activates, clearing toxins like beta amyloid that accumulate during waking hours. Rapid eye movement phases then play back emotional and factual memories, weaving them into integrated circuits that your brain can draw upon with greater ease and creativity. You awaken not just rested, but mentally sharpened and emotionally balanced, with a reinforced blueprint of the day's lessons. Establishing a consistent bedtime, even on weekends, anchors your circadian rhythm, preventing the social jet lag that drags motivation down when Monday morning arrives. Over time, your brain comes to expect rest at a predictable hour, making it easier to fall asleep without artificial aids or self-discipline battles. The result is more energy, better mood regulation, and a brain primed for learning from the moment your eyes open. Conclusion: by treating your evening routine as the crucial counterpart to your morning ritual, you close the loop on the 24-hour cycle of drive and recovery. Dimming lights, powering down screens, and reflecting on successes aren't mere niceties, they are the neurobiological levers that catalyze deep sleep, memory consolidation, and emotional renewal. When you honor these practices night after night, you build an unshakable foundation for sustained motivation, ensuring that every dawn finds your brain refreshed, your goals clear, and your drive ready to ignite once more. Everyday drive isn't something you chase, it's something you build. By greeting the morning with sunlight and movement, you anchor your biology to action. By breaking big goals into micro steps, you turn overwhelm into momentum. By aligning work with 90-minute focus cycles, you tap into your brain's natural flow. By engineering a clutter-free environment, you remove the friction that steals your attention. By leaning on simple, reliable rituals, you carry yourself through resistance. And by closing the day with a deliberate evening routine, you give your brain the rest it needs to consolidate gains and renew your energy. When these practices become non-negotiable parts of your life, motivation stops rising and falling. It becomes the durable engine that carries you forward day after day toward the limitless potential waiting inside your mind.